So I just want to give you a quick look at my Philips Hue lighting system and an idea of how it works. We integrate it with the likes of Google Home, Alexa, Apple HomeKit, and all the others where you can give voice commands. So Philips Hue is an extensive lighting system. It's basically an ecosystem built on Zigbee. Zigbee is a standard for home automation. It's a low power suite of protocols, which is an alternative to other wireless means of communication such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So the important things here is that it's Wi-Fi and also that it's a mesh system. So it means as you add more and more devices, each device becomes a repeater and it can actually extend your network in terms of your wireless lighting system. So it's pretty sturdy in terms of how it holds up against disconnects, which you may be experiencing with your Wi-Fi. Now, the fact that it's built on the Zigbee protocol means it has compatibility with all the other home automation products and devices that use that standard. For example, Alexa Plus has a Zigbee module built in. So while you normally need the lights, the switches, the hub, you don't need the hub if you use another Zigbee hub. For instance, Amazon Alexa Plus comes with Zigbee built in. So it would work out of the box without another Philips Hue hub. It works with the likes of Apple HomeKit. So you can operate it via Siri voice commands. And you can mix and match bulbs, devices from other Zigbee systems, home automation systems. I have to point out Philips Hue is an expensive way of getting into lighting home automation, but it's an extensive system. It's been around for a long time. It's well and truly tested. And when you start mixing and matching other products, other devices, although on paper it should all work perfectly, if you check the forums, people are getting problems all the time. It may work fine one day and not the next, or some bulbs work, some bulbs don't. For me, if you invest in Philips Hue, it's a system that works out of the box and it works. Yes, you have other cheaper options and you can mix and match and it may or may not work. I bought into Philips Hue because I just want it to work. I don't want to spend hours troubleshooting. My Philips Hue system does work. So it's a very compatible system. It's not an in-house system. It's built on a protocol widely used, means you're going to not only be able to use other bits of hardware, but automating apps such as IFTTT, Stringify and the likes all have support for Philips Hue. It means you can operate it easily via its own app, you can operate it easily via voice commands with Google Home, etc. But you can also make highly complicated automated systems by integrating it with other automating apps. So what is it? So it's a wireless lighting system. So they will do a whole range of light bulbs, a whole range of light fittings, and they will all need a switch and a hub. As I said, you don't have to use a Philips Hue hub, but it helps if you want a no-brainer working system. Now, that's a switch. And the point about this wireless system is that you can override the wiring in your own property. Obviously, you have to have the bulbs powered. So they will have to be in a powered light fitting. But in terms of your wiring, you can put the switches wherever you want. It doesn't have to be connected to a power source. They have built-in batteries. You can add dimming functions where you don't have dimming functions, extra switches where you don't have switches at the moment, or you can use your current light switches. For instance, if you buy third-party light switch covers, now the problem is you do have to leave the switches on. And when you first get your system, you will find you're constantly turning switches on and off, forgetting that actually your wireless bulbs need power all the time. So while you can use your bulbs in a normal way, in a normal light socket, turn it on and off like a normal bulb with no wireless communication to the hub or to the switch, you can't turn the switch off and have wireless communication. So if your hub goes down or your switch goes down, don't worry, you still use your light in the same way, turning it on and off. But to use the wireless functions, you have to have the power all the time. And when you first get it, you will find you are turning them on and off all the time. most people do is put a cover over the light switch. So that goes over a standard light fitting. You can get doubles, you can get trebles to fit any kind of light fitting. That's a single light fitting. It simply goes over the cover. The screw holes match the current screw holes. Your Philips light switch comes apart. It's magnetic. It's got magnets on the back, and that's how it fits onto a wall. If you don't want to use a third-party fitting, you can use the switch as it is. It will simply stick on the wall, or you can screw it to a wall. But if you get a third-party one, that comes off. That comes off. This comes off. The back comes off. Don't need that. That fits on there like that. That's on the wall, and I put that on there. So it covers the actual light switch. You don't have to keep remembering, don't switch your switch off. You operate it in the normal way. At the heart of the system, of course, is the light bulbs. They have a full range of light bulbs, but the biggest selling bulbs are what they call the ambience bulbs. You've basically got three types of light bulbs. You've got the normal light bulb, which has one color, 2700 Kelvin, which is the yellow type light you get indoors that you're probably used to. And then you get the ambience bulbs. You can get a white ambience, which is what I've got, which can be set from 2200 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. 6500 Kelvin being bright white daylight type of light, which is what I prefer. But you can have anything from white down to yellow and anything in between. There's actually 5,000 shades you can set it. And then you get the colored ambience, which people like for the sheer ambience, and you can use it with your home theaters and you can set the mood, blah, blah, blah. So in other words, you can get 16 million different colors with the colored ambience bulbs, including all those shades of white. The kicker is they are expensive. So if you buy the twin packs, you can get the colored ambience for about £40 each, the white ambience for about £20 each, and the normal ones for about £12 each. They are expensive. That's why I went for the white ambience. I didn't really need the colors, and they're half the price of the colored ambience. On the flip side, they last for a rated 15,000 hours or 15 years. It's a long time. I'll give you an example of where you are with that. The old style incandescent bulbs used to last for an average of 1,000 to 2,000 hours. So they're expensive, but they do last a lot longer. You shouldn't be replacing them anytime soon. They are rated at about 10 watts, which is like a 60 watt bulb, and they give out about 800 lumens of light. It's not a huge amount of light, but it's a 60 watt bulb. A larger one will need several of them, but I find it quite sufficient. Some people do complain you don't get enough light out of them. But bear in mind, it's a 60 watt bulb. It's never going to be, hugely bright. So you don't have to get those bulbs, but they are the main bulbs at the heart of the system. But they do everything in between. They do downlights, light strips, ceiling lights, candle type bulbs, spotlights, table lamps, mirrors with lights, everything you would expect from a huge range of lights and light fittings, all with wireless capability. You get outside lights as well. So you'll get your Philips Hue, you'll probably get your starter kit, which is the most cost-effective way of buying into the system. First thing you're going to do is set up your light. Now, Philips Hue works via the app, of course, and what they call scene modes. So a scene is simply setting your shade of brightness on your ambient bulb. Obviously, if you don't have an ambient bulb, you can't do that. So if you've got an ambient bulb, you're going to be looking at the scenes. So I've already got my bedroom set up with 3 Hue lights. If I tap on bedroom, you can see each light is called a lamp 1, a lamp 2, a lamp 3. So each one has a number. When you're giving voice commands, you can call it up by lamp number. You can, of course, assign as many rooms as you want and as many light bulbs to that room. Bear in mind the limitations of 10 bulbs per switch, 50 devices per hub. You've got your light set up. Pair it to your switch. That will be under accessory setup. My Hue dimmer switch. I want to program each switch. You have 4 switches, an on button, an off button, and your dimmer up, dimmer down. Your on button can be programmed to 5 different scenes per tap. So you can go through each of the switches, assigning it a routine or scene, a program. You can see for that first switch, I have different scenes set up. First press, second press, third press, fourth press, and fifth press. You can, of course, have each press the same if you don't want it to change per press. The dim up, the dim down, and the off will stay as they are. It's the on button that you can program to 5 different scenes. So the scenes, what are they? So I go to my first press. I've got it set to normal. For me, that's a bright white light, but I can change that. It comes with default settings, but you can choose your own scene, or what they call light recipes. This is a selection, but you can set up your own scenes. You go to new scene, select the room you want the scene for, and you can play around with the different settings. Each setting will bring a change to your lights. If you're in the room with the lights, this will be bringing a new scene. Again, there are presets. You go to the pictures that you can choose to set up a scene. When you have the color of your lights that you're happy with, you can set the default brightness by using the slider at the top. It will make it lighter or darker by the percentage. I personally want it 100% when it comes on. The heart of the automation part of Philips Hue is, of course, the routines. These are the standard routines. You can set up your own routines. So it comes with home and away. And here you can set what you want it to do when you come home or leave home. Of course, you need to turn on location aware, so it knows if you're leaving or coming home. And you'd go in and say turn on rooms or turn off rooms. And you've got the option only after sunset. Wake up. You can tell it to come on automatically at certain times in the morning to wake you up. And you can select the days and tell it to fade in and tell it to how long to take to fade in. You probably don't want in your face 100% brightness the minute it comes on. So you can have it slowly fade into complete brightness. Which rooms, how many lights. So it doesn't have to be all the lights. You can say which lights. You know, I've got only 2 of the 3 selected to wake me up. And then turn off again if you want. If you haven't got up by then, go to sleep. It's the opposite of wake you up. It will gradually fade out while you're actually in bed and falling asleep. Timers, you can have it come on for a set amount of minutes or hours. And of course, set up your own custom routines. Can use other apps to integrate with Philips Hue app and import them into Philips Hue, their routines. Don't have to use Philips Hue app. You can get other apps that will work with Philips Hue. So you're not tied in any way. You can use other devices, other apps, but when you first start, it's probably easiest to go all Philips Hue and get a hang of the system before you try doing advanced stuff. I will mention you can also get a motion detector, which is pretty handy. So the light comes on and off depending on whether there's motion in the room, but it's not as basic as that. So you can set it to work at certain times of the day. Of course, you probably wouldn't want to come on in the middle of the day, but you'd want it on at night, and then you'd want different levels of light depending on the time of day and the sensitivity level you can change within the app. So it's pretty extensive how you can set up the motion detector. I think it's quite handy. You can also get the smart switch, which interestingly is not battery powered. It's powered via kinetic energy by you pressing down on the button. So you've just got 3 buttons. You can set it to recall 3 preset scenes. It's an alternative to your normal switch. You can use Philips Hue when you're not at your home. So normally it's going to work via your home network. The hub plugs into your home network. If you want to use it from another place, you need to set up your online cloud account. Your online cloud account connects with your hub bridge, and then you can use it from other locations. So you've got everything set up. You know what the Philips Hue is all about. You want to start using some voice commands. How does it work? Just to point out, I do have 3 lights. I've only got 2 here, so if you hear it say it's doing something with 3 lights, there's a light in another room that's going on and off. So quick examples of what you can do with voice commands with Philips Hue lighting system and other similar lighting systems. Turn on all lights.
Okay, turning 3 lights on.
Turn off all lights.
Sure, turning off 3 lights.
Turn on light 3.
OK, turning Hue Ambience lamp 3 on.
Turn on all lights.
OK, turning on 3 lights.
Set lights to 50%.
Alright, setting 3 lights brightness to 50%.
Set lights to 10%.
OK, setting 3 lights brightness to 10%.
Set light 3 to 70%.
Sure, setting Hue Ambience lamp 3 brightness to 70%.
Turn off all lights.
Sure, turning 3 lights off.
Turn on all lights.
OK, turning 3 lights on.
Now, in this case, it's remembered last settings. You'll see light 2 is not the same as light 3 because I had it set to a percentage. So there would be times you'll need to tell it to go set lights to 100%.
OK, setting 3 lights brightness to 100%.
Turn off light 3.
Alright, turning Hue Ambience lamp 3 off.
Turn off all lights.
Alright, turning 3 lights off.
So it worked without a hitch, and there is a lot you can do. You can set 5,000 different shades or 16 million different colors if you've got the colored ambient, and you can set all those different levels of lighting from 100% down to 10%, which is the lowest. So it's not just what you've preset to your switches when it comes to voice commands, which I personally find myself using more than the switches. You have a lot more in the way of options. You can change your mind on a whim, and it will listen to what you're saying and carry out your commands. So I'm quite happy with my Philips Hue. I've not had any problems with it, and basically that's why I'm paying over the odds for a Philips Hue system rather than other systems. It's tried and tested, and there's a huge range of options if you look on the Philips Hue site for what you can buy to go along with it. They are all expensive. You do not buy into a system like this if you're worried about spending over the top money on light bulbs and light fittings. But you do get an extensive range of options, and I've been very happy with my Philips Hue, and I will be extending my system. So I hope you've got a handle on what you can and can't do with your Philips Hue system, and but it's not the only option out there. You can mix and match, but why you may not want to mix and match and why you want to spend a bit over the top on the Philips Hue rather than another system, but that it will integrate in just about any other system, especially when it comes to voice commands, and whether it doesn't matter if it's Apple or Android or whatever, it can integrate into just about any system. Just make sure if you're going to use Siri, you're using the latest hub, which supports Zigbee 3. So, thank you for watching.
UK